Alright, hey guys, Russian Rider here at All Sport with Sam, testing out a Victory Octane. So far, man, I'm liking this riding position. I'm not used to the tank being as wide. I mean, it doesn't feel uncomfortable, but my tank's really narrow where you're sitting and then it kind of goes out. This is almost like a straight tank. But the riding position is very, very comfortable. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and this feels really nice. The way the handlebars are, and having my arms out, it feels like a perfect length to the handlebars. The mirrors are nice too. I see better than I do on my FZ, might be because of the riding position. And I like how that looks. That was one worry. That feels pretty nice. That feels pretty nice. Yeah, it definitely has some pull if you want to have some pull. I looked at the numbers, and the power to weight ratio is actually better than my FZ. So has more power than the FZ, and the FZ is really lightweight. That's like 400 pounds, the FZ07. But this thing still, the power to weight ratio is higher if I did the calculations correctly. So, man, I'm liking this thing. Definitely liking this thing. I wish I would take it out somewhere in the hills to really have some fun with it, but I don't know how long it can be out. So, man, cool bike. I really wish I had an exhaust on it to hear what that would sound like. I'm sure it's gonna sound much better. But it is a liquid cooled motor, so it's like a really modern motor. That's how they're putting out so much power out of it. I mean, you compare this to like a Harley 1200, and this thing has quite a bit more power in the same size of motor, but you know, you're gonna have a different sound, probably less vibration. I guess I'll see here shortly, but I'm liking this thing here. Let's park it, get out and have a look. I wonder if it has a gear indicator. So engine temp, we have how much miles? So 6. I took it from 0 to 6 now. And RPM, temp, miles. Okay, so I don't think it has a gear indicator then. That was a really nice thing about the FZ07. Alright, so let's see if I can do a UE in this thing. Not bad. Not bad at all. First time, you know, I just got on this bike, not used to it at all, and I just did a U-turn. I know I could do a little bit better on my FZ, but I have almost 2 years of riding experience with that. So this seems like a good place to park. And I apologize, guys, if the camera's just aimed way too low. I did my best to aim it as high. I'll try to keep the helmet up a little bit more when I'm gonna ride back. Alright guys, so apparently my GoPro decided to call it quits, even though I had a full battery. It should have lasted over an hour, about an hour and a half. I guess maybe I just need to buy a new battery or something. But good thing I have a Cena 10C. The image quality isn't as good, but it's there. It's always there. So I'm recording with that, so you'll get a different view, which could be cool. I just heard the fan shut off, but here is the bike. Try to go a little farther back. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. Looks pretty nice. Actually looks really nice. It looks really nice. Don't have to do a fender eliminator kit on this guy. You know, looks pretty good there. So basically all dark colors, and I like that. So is this the frame, or probably just a cover, and then it goes down to hold the radiator? You got the cowl up there. Yeah, it's definitely a good looking bike. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the description. If you rode one of these, let me know. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Okay, so hopefully the camera angle is good. Once again, if it's not, sorry guys. I love that clutch. Oh my goodness. When I got my FZ07, I had to... Oh, somebody's calling me. Anyways, when I got my FZ07, I had to learn how to use the clutch, and I shut it off on accident a few times. More than a few times. Probably a few dozen times. Just, it engages at the very, very end. So it took a while. Now it's fine, but still, coming to something like this, it's really nice. So right now, third gear, going about 30. It's comfortable. The riding position is more comfortable than the FZ, like I said. Not a lot of vibrations at all. Make sure we're safe. Yeah, not a lot of vibrations. Feels really good. As far as turns, I mean, this feels similar to my FZ. Just kind of, you know, flip it around a little bit. It doesn't feel like 550. That was one worry I had. You know, a 550-pound bike, which is lightweight for something like this, compared to, I'm used to a 400-pound FZ07. But definitely, it doesn't feel heavy at all. At all. It feels really good. And it's really, I have a lot of confidence riding it, even though I barely rode it. I mean, my father's Gunner, I rode that more than I've ridden this so far, and that was still, even up to the end, I was not very confident on it, even though that's still an easy bike to ride. Compared to this, I was decently confident enough to ride it, but this feels right now like I've been riding it for a year already. I just feel with the clutch, with the gas, the brakes, the riding position, I feel like I've been riding this for a year and I'm completely used to the bike. So I guess it's a good thing. So I guess if you're even a starter rider, you don't want to start out with something too small, just like the FZ07. It's a perfect bike where it's easy to ride, but it also has the power when you need it, so you don't get bored of it after a couple months. Okay, let's see here. I would love to hear this thing with an exhaust. That would just sound so good. I can just already imagine. I mean, it sounds good. You hear engine sound, you don't hear very much exhaust sound. So the engine sound sounds good. Okay, let's check on the engine braking. Whoops, that's not even a stop. Good thing there's nobody behind me for a while. It has some engine braking. It's not more than not as much as the FZ. That has a lot of engine braking. So if you guys have any questions about the bike, about how it feels, write them in the comment section below. I'll do my very best to answer them. But yeah, what else could I talk about on this thing? I mean, it seems like an awesome bike. 10.5, I guess, is a good price for a bike like this. 7 grand is good for like an FZ07. That's really good, but for something with this much power and what this offers, it seems like basically like a bargain compared to something more expensive. So I think this bike compares to man, that feels good. I don't know if it's just the gearing, but it doesn't feel like it's missing any torque. So this bike competes with like a Harley 48, I'm guessing. So that's what I'm going to test drive, because I want to see kind of what the differences is. But that runs almost $1 grand more brand new for the 2016 models. And then Harley always, you know, they have just one paint job, that's the lowest price, and then they got all these upcharges on different styles of paint and then stuff like that. So but this thing, there's only one color, so this is kind of what you get for now. So I'm excited to see how that rides and how that feels. One cool thing I know about the Victories is it's very low maintenance, and it doesn't cost very much too. So I looked over, I couldn't find the manual for this guy, it just came out, but looking at the Gunner, my dad's bike, all you really have to do is every 5,000 you do an oil change, and that's for, I don't know how much oil fits in here, but for his bike it's 4.5 quarts when you change it. Hold a total of 5, but 4.5 when you change it. And it's $60 for an oil change kit with the filter and with the washers and stuff. So yeah, so not very expensive. At 10,000 you do the air filter and oil change, and then at 15 you do the front fork oil, and then 25 is spark plugs, and that's it. That is all for the maintenance. So very, very low maintenance costs on these guys. I'm guessing it'll be similar for this bike. I mean, this bike is oil cooled, so it probably has less oil in the engine, and then you'll probably have to change the coolant at some time, but it doesn't seem like it to be too expensive. I want to get onto the freeway here and see how that feels, and I'm stuck here behind a bus. So I like all the lines here on the tank. It's not just a plain tank, but I like the lines that come up, the lines here on the sides. Alright. Oh man, that clutch. I don't know if I should say like this is a good bike to learn to ride on, but that clutch definitely is super, super easy to use. Less wind, but it's comparable. I mean, you have this cowl up front, which does a little bit, but not as much as the actual windscreen. And I put a little windscreen on my FZ07, which that helped a little bit. Once again, not a huge difference. So we're doing about 70, and it feels, you know, it doesn't feel too bad. I want to say it's a little bit less wind, but not a huge difference. So let's see, in 6th gear, there is a gear indicator. I don't know how I didn't notice it. There is a gear indicator, but let's try. So 6th gear, I'm just giving it some gas. So let's go 60, and then, I wish there wasn't that car in front of me. 60, and I'll give it some gas. Up to 80. Yeah, it feels pretty good. I mean, I would downshift still and get a little more power with different gearing, but I mean, that still pulls pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I'm already I'm already super used to this bike. It's so easy to ride. You know, I want to also say that it has less vibrations than my FZ07, which it's a liquid cooled bike, and my FZ is also a liquid cooled bike, but it does feel smoother and has less vibrations. You can still get into some trouble with this thing. Man, yeah, I definitely think this is going to be something that sport bike riders are going to be taking a look at. You still have that sportiness, it still turns great, you still got some power. Yeah, so it is the front brakes on this thing. They're squealing a little bit, but you know, brand new bike. I'm guessing that would go away. Right. Oh my goodness. I love taking off from a standstill on this thing. Like on my FZ, I was a little bit worried from a red light when I just got it, to make sure I do the clutch correctly and everything else. But this thing is just like so easy. You just give it a little power, let go of the clutch, not a problem at all. And it's fun instead of you actually having to think to make sure that you don't stall it or anything else. 10 miles. Hey, let's change to the RPMs. I don't want to be sitting at it the same RPM, so I'll try to vary it a little bit. I'm glad there's that gear indicator. I just didn't notice before because it turns off for a second, and I was talking to the camera and trying to ride the bike and see how it feels. It's very comfy. The bike just feels very comfortable. My friend with the 600RR, he was saying these cruisers are like a couch on wheels or something. You're just relaxing. Yeah, that feels great. I'm excited to see how the Harley feels. I've wanted a Harley for a few years, ever since I had my Buell. So I guess longer than a few years. So I'm excited to see how that thing compares to this bike. Get these tires in. Man, it's just so flickable. You don't expect that from a cruiser. Watch, I'm just gonna fly off of it or something. That would suck. But no, it's just, I just feel so good. And don't worry, there's nobody close to me. It's very easy to ride. It has good power when you get on it. I think I would get into less trouble. I mean, I haven't gotten in trouble with my bike, but it's still, maybe it's the riding position that makes you just more relaxed. Here, you don't just feel like going fast. And if I had a crotch rocket, that's why I never bought an actual crotch rocket. If I had a crotch rocket, I would definitely get into trouble. That's why I bought my Buell instead of, you know, getting something like R1 that I was looking into. I got my FZ because it's less tempting, but still, those bikes are tempting. Man, it turns in so easily and so well. Like, I almost feel more confident on this than on my FZ. It's hard to believe that since I've had that for almost 2 years, but wow. Wow. So here's All Sport. They let me try out this bike. I'm going to try out a different one here shortly. The 48, which this competes with. So thank you to All Sport. Thank you to Sam, who I'm working with right now. And yeah, I really enjoyed this bike. Let's get the kickstand out. Shut this thing down. Take another look at it. Looks good. Let me know, what do you guys think? Does this thing look good to you? Do you like the color? The dark flat? I really like it.